Hello everybody and welcome to another city update. Yes, I'm back with another update. And I did quite a few things here since the last time that you saw this. I've been quite busy working on here very often, and I've got some good progress to show you. There's nothing new over there, so I won't even bother showing you that section, but let's start over here. And you've probably already seen it in some other areas. I finally started to get some foliage in the city. I before only had these small trees and some stuff like this that was like green. And I mean existing trees like this thing that are just in front of modular buildings. But I finally decided to make some custom trees. So we've got a couple there in front of my big tower. These are pretty cool. They took quite a while to build because they're kind of fragile and stuff. There are bars on the inside and some pieces holding everything together. It's not really fun building these, but the end result is pretty cool. Then I've got this tree over here, which I put in this area. I finally managed to get this area kind of filled in. So I have this kind of back area of the hotel. This is meant to be kind of an area where there would be trash bins and stuff like that, although I haven't put any there yet. It's just kind of an area that the normal visitors of the hotel wouldn't really go to or wouldn't have access to. So I've got this area. We have this kind of triangle-like structure here, kind of framing in a little bit of greenery with this one big tree standing in there. I at first wasn't 100% sure if I wanted to keep this here because it kind of, I don't know, maybe it sticks out a little much, but I think it's great. I got used to it and I like the way it looks there. And yeah, also took a little while to get this tree to be like this, and I'm happy with it, so we'll stick with it. That's about it for this area. Let's go over here. I filled in these green spots here and also these little green spots up there with just all of these kind of pots here. You know, you can get these in very bulk quantities for cheap. They're also very often on the Pick-a-Brick wall in Lego stores. That's where I got these from. And then I also really like this foliage piece with these three big leaves. I just think it makes for great like ground covering foliage, and I like how that looks. Got a couple bushes and stuff like that, and this is the typical style for just filling in foliage on like plain surfaces that I'm using throughout the city, because I like how it's kind of filled. It's rather quick to build, and I like the result. I think it's paying off, and I'm just happy with it. It goes around the corner quite a bit. Back there, it just kind of fades off into just being these little stem pieces. But yeah, that's that. I just really like how that looks, and I'm very happy with it. The next thing that I can show you is the foliage, because it continues. Here we got just these stem pieces, then a few of these pieces with the leaves on them, another bush, more stems, and then we get into these, I don't even know, these small tree-like things, more bushes, and then we get into this first curve. And here we got a variety of things. Again, these elements as the main like foliage floor design. Some of these stem pieces just thrown in to kind of fill in gaps and stuff like that. More bushes in different colors. And then we got this this tree design that I think you've probably seen before. A lot of people use it nowadays. It's literally just these modified bricks with 4 studs on all sides. with these stem pieces on the side of it, and you just add more stem pieces to go wider towards the bottom. And at the top I did this modification that some people do that I think looks a ton better than the usual design, and that's just sticking in a bar at the top and then putting these things upside down on it, similar to how these smaller trees look. That's pretty cool. I like how that's looking. And I've got a couple over here. I may add another one in the middle. We'll see. Then we've got some trees in the back of these houses, some thin ones. They're pretty cool. These are like some of the first trees that I built here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep them exactly like that, because, well, all of the newer trees that I've built, I used these leaf elements on them to kind of give them a more full looking appearance, just that they're, I don't know, more substantial. But for example, I also don't have these leaves on these trees in the city, so I'm not exactly sure. I actually like how they look, so I think I won't change that at the moment. Yeah, I'll just keep them the way they are. I think I'm happy with them. Let's continue. We got more stuff over here. This is basically the same thing again. A lot of these trees, bushes, the stuff on the floor, and we also got a couple of these Lego style trees, these one mold pieces. I'm not a huge fan of them, but I think mixed in they do make for some interesting bushes. I mean, actually they're trees, but in comparison to these other trees, they're so small they look like bushes. So I think that works out fairly well. Again, the remaining area is also filled in with greenery, so that's looking really cool. Over here we've got more greenery, another one of these trees, and then up here I also added these pieces. And then I also changed out this one tree over here, which was also just one of these smaller ones, and I made it bigger, more substantial, to kind of, I don't know, make that area a little more green, because it's a very gray area in the city with 4 roads right next to one another, a lot of sidewalks and stuff. I will fill in that area with flowers and stuff, but that's coming very soon. Very soon, I promise. I've now started with all this foliage stuff. Well, actually, I'm quite far into it, and I won't stop until I get it done. You know, I've been doing that for the past few weekends whenever I had time to work on the city, and all in all, I've been enjoying it. I mean, it's not the best process of building, especially with these trees and with the other trees, but the results are absolutely amazing, and I really like how that's looking when it's done. So that's about that much when it comes to the trees and to the foliage. Let's look at another thing. I've got this new passenger train, and of course I don't have just one set. I do have the thing in its full length with 2 sets back to back, of course, because one train is just not complete. At first I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it the same way I did it with my other passenger train that I have in the city. I would just buy one set and then buy the parts for another locomotive. But I just felt like this train needed some proper length, and that's why I ended up deciding to go with 2 trains back to back. I did some minor modifications to the train that I haven't seen anybody else do before, but I'm sure somebody did it. So yeah, just wanted to say that I personally wasn't a fan of all the studs on the roof. All in all, I am not against studs. I like studs, but in this case it was just, I don't know, it was too much. You got all these studs on the roof, but the sides of the train are always, of course, pretty studless, and that just didn't look right to me. So I added this 2-stud wide tile strip along the top of the roofs, just to kind of give it a finished off look. and I think that makes it look a lot better. And it goes all the way to the back. And in the back we've got the second change that I did. I put in these trans red slopes. You can get them on Bricklink for rather cheap. They are okay. Getting them in used is quite cheap. Getting them in new quality is like, I don't know, very rare and kind of expensive, but you can get these for a used price and they will look fine. I will now run the train so that you guys kind of get a look of the train and also the new foliage around the city. So let's start this thing. One thing to note is that I currently have just one train motor in this thing, because let's be real, it doesn't really need two train motors in this city layout, because I can't go full speed anyways. And I think it's performing quite well. At the back I just have two normal train axles. I took out the actual train motor, and that's also the reason why there's no light in the back. As much as I would like there to be light, but at the moment it's just not possible. Eventually, at some point, I want to get a couple of 9-volt train motors, and when I got those I will be able to put one in the front, one in the back, and then I can illuminate the rear lights and the front lights. And maybe also the carriages. We'll see about that. But yeah, I think it's a very pretty looking train. And it's really cool. So that's that. I do like this train a lot. I think it looks really cool. I kind of wish the locomotives would be a little longer, because like the actual slope of the train, of the nose, is like almost half as long as the locomotive, which I don't know, feels a little bit out of proportion, but I'm getting used to it, so I think it looks fine. But yeah, that's that. I would run this on a long curves layout somewhere the next time I'm setting something up, but at the moment I think I'll keep it here in the city, or I'll put it in some boxes because I don't really have space on the layout. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that. It's a nice train. That way I was also able to kind of show you the greenery again, the foliage, and that's about that. I don't think there's anything I missed in this city update, but if there is, I'm sorry. For all of you that are still watching, I know there's just very few people that watch till the end. Thank you very much for watching, and I think I'll see you in the next city update. Goodbye.